think one important point we missed thus far in this conversation is that we're supposed to be exposing our kids to things so that they understand what they know and what they love and what they want. They have a deeper sense of purpose by the time they get to be adults or by the time they get to be young teenagers because they've experienced more, right? Not to keep our kids busy and to give them busy work, but to expose them to the things and the parts of themselves that they don't know exist.
What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Fatherhood Village Podcast, the official home for proud fathers and mentors. I'm Dale Holloway. As always, with Kev Hick, we are the TFV hosts. What's going on with you, Kev? How you living over there?
Oh man, still good. No complaints.
I got you. How's the fam? Everybody straight?
Everybody good, man. Everybody good. You know, if I'm doing my job, it's going to stay that way.
I hear that. So, hey, welcome everybody. We're back with another hot topic, man. Something that's going to always be of importance. We're talking about college education versus a trade, as that may apply to ourselves as fathers and those of our children. You know, what direction should we help guide them in? What are we telling them about both? So we'll talk about the pros and cons of each, and we'll end it with the importance of education.
All right, Dale. So before we continue, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Let's get checked. Listen, fellas, low testosterone can cause muscle loss, erectile dysfunction, reduced sex drive, fatigue, obesity, and symptoms of depression. So if you're having trouble making gains at the gym, putting it down in the bedroom, maintaining adequate energy levels, staying lean, having mood issues, you could in fact have low testosterone. I can say from experience that Let's Get Checked makes getting tested easy with next day delivery. You just receive your test, send it off, and get your results in 2 to 5 days. Get your testosterone levels checked today at trylgc.com/TFV. Again, that's trylgc.com/TFV. The coupon code TFV gets you 30% off in the checkout. As men and as leaders, we gotta be fully functional out here. The array of home health test kits available from Let's Get Checked makes staying on top of your health easy. So check it out, guys. The link's in the description. Now let's get back into this conversation.
So I want to start by saying I kind of got a little bit of both. Very, very little college education. So I went to, as you already know, Kev, I was up in Columbus at the Columbus College of Art and Design. You know, private institution, and you know, it's more geared toward obviously the fine arts degrees and things of that. Didn't really work out. I mean, I had a scholarship. Some things didn't really go in my direction. Some things I did have control over, some things not so much, but you know, and then they end up suspending me. After my first year, I didn't keep, you know, this grade point average. I think I had to keep like a 2.5 or something, and some teachers was slighting me, man, just because I wasn't in class enough. The work was done, things were in, you know, was in order as far as that goes, but you know, I could say it was a few other factors involved, but you know, nonetheless, that's what I did before joining the Air Force. You know, I did some time at St. Clair, and I was just soul searching, man. I was just kind of filling these pockets as far as, you know, what is right for me, what's the appropriate steps to take, because as you all know, when we grow up, they talking about go to school, get an education, go to college, you know, but they're not really being specific on what, why, you know, how is this going to help you and your family? Are you doing it just to fill a position? You just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you end up with all this college debt. what's the reason behind it? What purpose are you fulfilling? And then with the trade, like I said, I got into aircraft mechanics um, when I got into the Air Force, and that you can get paid pretty handsomely on the outside and on the civilian sector with the commercial airlines and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, man. So as far as the pros, what are some of the pros for each as far as college education and trade?
I think college education is very, very, very important if big giant ass, ridiculously huge asterisks if you know what the fuck you want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they program our young asses to just go out there and apply to a college and take some prerequisite courses. You'll figure it out later. Your ass be done flunked out because you don't have no direction, no passion, right? No
Yeah,
purpose. And now you owe $30,000 or $20,000 or $15,000, and you ain't even got to the damn shit you signed up to become. You
yeah.
ain't even got to the
You
classes
just
that
doing
you were
liberal
supposed to.
arts and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
done paid $20,000 to take the same damn English classes that you just took in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a great injustice that they've been giving a young person that, oh, college is the only way or college is the way, and they give them no direction. And they've also done a great disservice to the country in forcing people, young kids, to first take prerequisite classes having nothing to do with the thing that they are passionate about, almost punishing them for having a dream at all, and requiring them to pay a bunch of money, exuberant amounts of money that don't even apply toward their goals. And by the time they, have paid a bunch of money or owe a bunch of money, they're already beat up, they're worn down, they're defeated, right? And then they're being kicked out of college for having not, the best grade point average, or this thing or that thing, or so everybody's not meant to be a student. Everybody's not meant to be an academic, but I think everybody's meant to experience their dream. And I think that they need to put dreams first in college and get back to the core competency of whatever career that one should be, one is, going after. I think that if I can get to college and experience the greatness of whether it's nursing or becoming a veterinarian, or whatever. If they just give you a little bit more of a taste of the thing that you got there for immediately, then it would carry a lot more children through the process. Over 50% of people who enroll in college drop out of college. It's because they waste your time with a bunch of shit having nothing to do with what you got there for and what you wanted to do. So college is extremely important, but it's important if you know what you want to do, and if you have some direction and some passion about what you're doing, because some people know they want to be successful. That in and of itself is not enough. They feed us this idea that if you get good grades, you will get a good job. No, if you get good grades, you'll get the opportunity to pay a good, handsome sum of money to a college to play with you and to give you 2 years of core classes before they allow you to take one class having anything to do with the thing you want to do with your life. If you have that amount of endurance, by the time you get there, you're the best homework doer in the world. But you still know shit about the profession or the job that you've chosen for your life. So you have to find a way to scratch that itch in other ways until you get to those classes. I think that college can be amazing, but you have to go with passion and purpose. And if you don't have passion or purpose, that 2 years of prerequisite shit will definitely deplete all of the air out of your cells. And most people drop out before they ever even touch one class to their major.
Yeah, yeah. I think you hit both, man. You hit the pros and cons right in there.
I don't be listening
But
to shit. You be trying to give me the directions. I just be going.
yeah, nah, you good. You good. We got that out the way, man. But nah, just to add to that point, college, like I said, does have a lot of benefits, obviously. Once you have chosen the right path to take, the right program, you're at the right school that fits your needs, that fits your academic goals. Um, you can network. I mean, if you got the right professors and instructors and things of that nature, they can definitely help you out in a lot of great ways. And the students, I mean, along with the faculty members, it's just networking. A lot of life is just all about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
and how you can leverage that, those connections. So, but yeah, man, it's a good time. It's an experience that is kind of unmatched in a lot of ways. You can study abroad, visit different countries, and um, it could be a great time. It could be a great
Like,
time. Lots of stories you can tell. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it has many facets. The highs, the lows. I was kind of money was kind of hard to come by in Columbus. You know what I mean? So you kind of experience living on ramen noodles and all that stuff, and um, just trying to get by, and y'all putting y'all change together to go get a pizza, and you
Sound like
find
you
you
might have lost your freshman team. You didn't gain a freshman team. You
right.
lost your freshman team.
For sure, for sure. So you learn a lot about yourself. Being in college, like I said, I can only imagine if I did 4 years as opposed to like a year and a half. But it can be great. But like I said, the pros with a trade obviously is near universal. You can go anywhere for a fraction of the cost. You get directly into what you signed up for. There's really not a whole lot of bull jive in the beginning. So, and a lot of times, if you don't like it, this is not something that you imagined, or you just want to change your mind and go in a different direction. You didn't waste a lot of money. You didn't waste a lot of time. You know what I mean? You're not stuck, and with room, board costs, and all these books and things of that nature. So, there's probably more pros because the cons are really limited when it comes to a trade, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think, and you can, like I said, you don't really have to wait for a job opening or someone to be hiring to utilize your skills from a trade. You can go into the business for yourself. You can do freelance work. You can partner up with some folks. You can pretty much hit the ground running. Um, and there's a lot of job security with that. If you got to trade with HVAC, you're an electrician, things of that nature. That shit is always in demand.
Yep.
You will always be needed. You will always have a job. The healthcare industry. I mean, there's things that you'll always being work and be of service to many people. So if you can kind of have a little bit of both, you'll be unstoppable. Like if you have a little bit of
Yeah.
worked uh getting that education with a trade while you were kind of in school, or you did some things in the summer while being on a break from school, you getting caught a couple certs, being wise with your time. There's a lot more in store for you if you kind of handle it in that fashion. And some might be like, hey, I fell in love with this trade. I'm gonna go ahead and just say F school as far as the education. Like something else took off for me, and going a different route. So, um, but yeah, man. So with the pros and cons of both college education and trade, what are we really explaining to our children? Like what direction should we really point them in? What do they need to figure out on their own? What's the best route for them to kind of figure things out? Is there a plan B? Should they know, like, hey, once you choose this is it, you ain't gonna waste all my money trying to figure out what you're doing in college and not have a plan? Basically, what are we telling, what are we preaching, what are we trying to get across to our children when they have to make that ultimate decision when graduating high school, what direction to take? Should they be kind of building on that answer and what they want for themselves before they reach that high school diploma? Give them time to figure it out after high school. What should be the plan of action, and how much should we be involved in that?
For me, like as a father, man, all I want is for my sons to live a life that they can be proud of, that makes them happy, that fulfills them. Like that's it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a single shred of a fuck about success as compared to their level of joy and happiness, peace, love, and contentment. I don't give a fuck about none of that stuff, man. I realize that there are people out here who got a bunch of money who got the accolades and got the degrees that just don't have any of the peace, any of the tranquility in their spirit. So for me, the college versus the trade thing always goes back down to what I believe matters most in life, which is a man's impact on the world around him and a man's uh, sense of self, right? So and I know I'm all in the air at the moment, but I plan to tell my sons and to encourage my sons to chase their dreams, whatever their dreams are. Right. I think as a father, it's my duty to have it in my pocket and have it within my resources to facilitate them trying to get to where they're supposed to be and chase their dreams. I think that it's with my responsibility to be able to afford them the opportunity and the time that I wasn't afforded before I had to go into survival mode as adults in my adulthood. I'm sorry. Um, it's within my responsibility to provide that opportunity for them, right? We hear so much about opportunity. Opportunity starts at home, right? With parents who have the means to provide that opportunity. I plan on telling my sons to go to college if college is attached to their dream. If my son's passionate about, say, helping animals and he wants to be a veterinarian, and you need to go to college to be a veterinarian, I can get behind that. I'll get him an internship at a zoo somewhere so he can operate within his passion while they waste his time with core curriculum, right? But ultimately, when he gets to his science and his health classes, you need that shit, right? So that's not bull crap. With those English classes, you don't necessarily need to know about more nouns and compound phrases and adjectives and whatever the hell else stupid ass MLA format they're gonna stick to your degree and charge me $3,700 to do it. Right. But I'll support his dream and I'll support college if college is attached to his dream. If my son tells me, Dad, I'm gonna be honest with you, I want to be a musician. We can send you to a school of music if college is attached to that dream. If you want to play in an orchestra, if you want to be a philharmonic, is that a real? Whatever the
Yeah.
hell the prestigious. I know that's real, but I don't know if it's for high schoolers or not. But whatever the prestigious orchestras are of the world, whatever my son wants to do, man, I just want to support it. I want him to live the life that he's dreamed of. And so college, trade, whatever. If he doesn't care about what he does as much, but he just wants to live a certain life and have control over his schedule and have control over how much money he makes and be his own boss, then I'll move him toward becoming a tradesman, or at least picking up a trade. That way he always has the room and the availability to provide for himself. Nobody can take a trade from you. Hell, you could do 5 or 6 trades in an adult lifetime, 7 or 8, because it doesn't take much time. Most trades are under 2 years. You do a 2 year trade, you don't like that shit, they can't take that knowledge from you. You can always go back to it and get some money, pick up another trade, go right back into trade school. Trade school is wonderful because for the most part, it's only a couple of $1,000s, damn near no matter what you're doing. I mean, it's pretty affordable when you think about it. And then you make money on the trade that can pay for that college immediately. Sometimes college is set up where, hell, you owe 40, 50, 70, $100,000. It takes you 12, 13, 15, 22 years to pay it off. If you look at the math, you're making the same amount of money as somebody who didn't go to college, at least for the first 10 years of your career, simply because your college tuition is being paid with every check that you have, and it's killing you, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes the trade-off is not only time and effort, but it's also the finances that were promised to you as a result of the college. So I might sound like I'm anti-college, but I'm pro-college having a purpose. I'm a person who went to college 3 times. I went to college 3 times. And every time I went, it was just because I just didn't want to be a failure. I wanted people to look at me and say, "Oh, he's in college. Kev's in college, right?" Like it mattered to me that people thought that I was different because I always felt different and people always expected different of me. So I went to college, but I didn't go to college because I knew what I wanted to be. I went to college because I was afraid of not being a failure, or I was afraid of being a failure or being looked at as a failure.
Yeah,
I
being
went to
perceived.
Yeah, being perceived as a failure. I went to college for early childhood education. I went to college for business management. I went to college for graphic design. And I dropped out 3 fucking times, not because I'm not
Mm.
smart enough. I'm generally one of the smartest kids in whatever class I step into if it's not related to math. It had nothing to do with that. It was because I didn't have passion, I didn't have drive, I didn't have purpose. I was only going so that I couldn't be a failure, right? And when I started doing the math, well, wait a minute, I'm gonna owe this much by the time I'm done. So I'm gonna have to make this much a year just to have this type of lifestyle. Well, wait a minute. Damn it, I'm living like that now.
Mm.
I have to be in this career for 12 years before I make this amount of money. This ain't even no money. This ain't real money.
Yeah.
Why would I wait 12 years and work this hard for this amount of money when I could just go get a damn job and get promoted through the ranks in 3 or 4 years in doing this, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been to college. I'm college educated, partially, but I can tell you, I wish I would have just found a trade. But do I? I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, operating in my gift. It just took me a little bit longer. So many of us think we're supposed to have it figured out when we're 30, right? So I think that part of my job as a father is making sure that my son knows that sometimes you don't have shit figured out. Sometimes college is the answer if it's attached to your dream. Sometimes a trade is your answer. And so I'll push him in whatever direction I notice his passions would otherwise take him, because his passions will get him through whatever he has to experience to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. But if he has no direction, I'm gonna be honest. Most parents will say, "Well, you got to go to school, you got to go to the military, you got to go somewhere." Man, listen, I'm working my ass off so that if my son needs a year to take some time and really focus and do some internships or pick up some jobs and see what he's really interested in, I want to give him that opportunity. But I can tell you, we're not going to start when he graduates. Shit, from the time my son can get out of this COVID household, from the time COVID is over, I'm gonna be sticking him into everything. I think one important point we missed thus far in this conversation is that we're supposed to be exposing our kids to things so that they understand what they know and what they love and what they want. They have a deeper sense of purpose by the time they get to be adults, or by the time they get to be young teenagers, because they've experienced more, right? Not to keep our kids busy and to give them busy work, but to expose them to the things and the parts of themselves that they don't know exist. Man, I wish so badly my mom would have stuck me on a basketball team in elementary school instead of just starting to play basketball in freshman year. I probably would have been a phenom. The way I could jump, the way I could move. I wasn't the most point guardy motherfucker around, but damn it, man, I had some gifts. You know what I'm saying? And for the lack of experience I had, maybe basketball would have been it. Now, of course, that's one in a million shot, so I wouldn't have put all my eggs in that basket. But I found something I was passionate about when I was 16, 13, and 14. I could have had that opportunity in elementary school had, we just had more of a plan to expose me. Maybe I would have been a great MMA fighter. I have really good instincts. My uncle's a second degree black belt in some shit, and he's got a few black belts. My uncle's he's a bad man. My instincts are much like his, and I don't even have the extent of training that he has. If I'm sparring with my uncle, he's like, "What the hell? How do you know?" Like, it's in me. I have some gifts, some natural gifts that I never really got to explore because I wasn't in anything. I didn't get to do that stuff. So, like, in adulthood, I did some kickboxing. When I was 18 and 17, I jumped into boxing. But it's like, imagine what I could have accomplished and what I could have had and the passions I could have developed if I just had the opportunities as a child to explore those things through my adolescence, right? So I think that college or picking up a trade, that has to be the second or the third step in figuring out what a kid wants to be. But the first step in trying to figure out help your child figure out what they want to be is to expose them to a little bit of everything. One thing my mom did do well, or did do, she took me to she made me go to camp one summer. I loved camp. It could have been a nature career come after that. One year she made me do a few years she made me do the soapbox derby. I was a race car driver from 9 to 13. That was damn good. I won damn near every race I did, and these were like 62 people. I was always four or more. You know what I'm saying? I was on a Good Morning America for race car driving when I was 12 years old. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be a soapbox derby racer in my adulthood, but that could have led to a passion to drive cars. I could have been a damn race car driver, a stunt car driver, some kind of, I could have been, it could have just led to something, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't pick up a passion for race car driving. I was just good at it, but I could have, right? I didn't pick up a passion for being out in nature and doing this or that, but I could have. But that exposure that my mom gave me during that summer, where she was very aware, she had a heightened awareness for that summer. Those are the type of moments that draw a kid toward who they become and what they want to be. And so, if you got a kid in high school and it's still time, get them involved in some different shit. If you got a kid in elementary, get them involved in as much shit as you can without keeping them busy and raping them of their opportunity at peace and quiet too. Um, but it's very, very important that the college versus tradesman conversations start with just exposure to everything, because they don't even know what type of trades they want to pick up until they've done a summer with an uncle on a roof somewhere, or painted a couple of rooms and realized, damn it, I'm all right at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to expose people. I probably talk forever, but I think that it depends so much more on the passion and the person and the life that it will give them, and the peace that they would that would come from them doing what they love. That's what is more important to me, and that determines whether or not they should go to college or select a trade.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a great point. And along with exposing them, uh, let them see what the college life is like. Have them speak with others that's been involved with it. Not only exposing them to the environments in which these things are taking place, but they could hear from the horse's mouth, you know, blunt and straight up, like, hey, this is going well for me, or nah, I wish I kind of did A, B, and C a little differently. Get them in front of other mentors. Um, they need to hear from other people that's been down that lane, that's gone through, bumped their heads, had to diverge a little bit. But yeah, man, you definitely hit the nail right on the head. And them finding their purpose. No one knows when they're going to find their purpose. Some, they know right away in childhood, and they stay on that path. Some, they may not know until they hit 30. They try so many different things leading up to that point. It's really hard to gauge when you cross that threshold. And I know for myself, I didn't really, approach it and kind of understood it until I was near 30. So I was just kind of going through the motions, and we have to allow them that time. They may, their decisions may be a little finicky. They may say, for this amount of time, from the time they was 11 to 13, they were talking about this. And then from 13 to 17, it changed and they were going in a different direction. Mm-hmm. So we had to allow them to evolve and have a change of heart. They learn a little bit more about certain things. The world is changing. Technology, has a big grasp on a lot of things we do. So if they need some time once they graduate from high school, give them that little time to figure some things out, but they have to remain productive. They have to remain, committed to finding who they are. Don't let them go down, the wrong path. Don't let them astray. They need to stay, involved in, what's going to progress them to the next step. And constantly ask them, who are you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know your name, you my son, you my daughter, but who are you? Who are you to me? Introduce you to me. You know what I mean? So just kind of have them constantly think about that, and kind of relish in their mind. But I think side hustling is a big thing, and they may not have a passion, but they know how to make money. Because you don't want them kind of always coming to you for, hey, Dad, let me borrow 100, let me spot something real quick. What you doing out here? Hold on, I thought you said, okay, we need to get down to the basics, so you always have means, of earning, of income. If things just fall off, you know what I mean? If shit hit the fan,
that's that hot dog stand. Told you, my son, when he turned 15, he getting a hot dog stand. That right. Nigga, you got that's your paper, man. Go get that money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of the big stuff, but damn it, your hot dog stand is the income. You a business owner. You know what I'm saying? That's about instilling in them certain skill sets regardless. They're gonna
Mm,
still find their skills. They still gonna find their passions. They still got to figure out what they want to do with their adulthood. But you have to give them some default positions in the market. You have to give them a value to the marketplace immediately. And
right.
so that is less up to them and more up to us. And so for me, it's like a hot dog stand, hamburger stand, pizza stand, a damn food truck. When you 16, you 15, you getting some kind of business to manage. And this is
Yep.
gonna be what you do. Now listen, still go chase your dreams, but now you don't need to be in my pockets. Now you got some independence. And
Yeah.
still go find your trade. Still go to college if you want to do, but you got to have that established, for a young man. And hopefully entrepreneurship is something that he takes to, and he just go get a bigger and better ass business. You feel me? But
Hmm.
that
But yeah,
that
but
definitely needs to be addressed.
all day, and to wrap things up, man, the importance of education, like that is the foundation. You understand? They need
Absolutely.
to understand the 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 inner workings of society, like and how these things work and how to leverage, your skills, your knowledge, um, in your network system, man. So if you're not reading books, if you're not picking up news
Right.
articles, if you're not
Right.
familiar with the times and current events, you're gonna slowly, be in a regressive state. So they need to,
And,
find ways to, stay current in what is happening, like either in the current field that they're, involved with, what they're pursuing, and just overall knowledge, history. You need to learn about ways to feed yourself, learn
mm-hmm.
about health, learn about how to, take care of your vehicle and maintenance and things with your house. Like you need to know a little about a lot of things. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and then
And,
that comes with
and
just self education.
and we need to understand that we cannot confuse schooling for education.
Hmm.
Schooling is a form of education, but we also know somebody who got degrees who is just as airheaded as somebody who never stepped foot into high school and dropped out in the ninth
Hmm.
grade.
Yeah,
So schooling and education are different. There are many men around me that are very, very educated, but they lack schooling. And they've made the lives for themselves that they want. And then there are those around me who have educations who struggle. So it can't be assumed that education is attached to schooling because that's not always the case. Uh, I think college can provide an education, but sometimes it's just schooling. And some people school themselves poorly and they need an official, institutionalized education, right? So we got to make sure that we just understand the difference between a man who's seeking knowledge or a woman who's seeking knowledge and gaining that knowledge and retaining that knowledge over and above just going to an institution and getting a piece of paper.
absolutely,
In respect,
absolutely.
though, college is
Right.
important, but get your education while you're in school because you might not get educated just being there. You ain't gonna be educated because you just showed up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. Our children, everyone needs to learn something every day. You have to continue to dive into a book to just continue to feed your mind at all times. You need to open that mind up, man, and don't be locked into just what you hear or what you see. Go find out for yourself. Do your own research. Be independent about what you know. So, but yeah, man, excellent topic. I think we hit a lot of things. But hey, family, if we missed anything you want to hear more of, hey, hit us up on Twitter, hit us on IG. We love to hear you. Bring up whatever conversation that you feel is necessary, man, for the fatherhood village. So, um, without further ado, man, it's your boy Dale Holloway. That's Kev Hick. Peace and love.
Peace and love.